in the game.
Like we always do at this time on a Thursday night. Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
You know the vibes. You see what's going on your screen. Super producer Randy J. Cruz, okay? Joe Cruz, okay? Sir Denny Blanco, and we have a very special guest. Randy, you want to introduce our guest this evening, please, good sir?
I got you. Mr. Brandon Scoop B. Robinson in the building, my man. How you doing?
Man, what's going on with y'all? Good to see you.
I'm doing
yes,
good.
sir.
I'm doing good. On the upper right-hand corner, my brother Joe Cruz Jr. at Hoops in the Sun at J Cruz CEO. My man, how you doing?
Doing great. Happy Thursday. It's a pleasure to be on this show. Scoop, is always good to see you, brother. I'm looking fun to have with you on the show today. So let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
You can find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Also go to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rates, comments, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for you boys on the program. We reach a little milestone of 700 plus subscribers. Finally, it took a little while, but now the next on the agenda is 750, 800, and we go on from there. So thank you guys for the support. If you're watching us on X and on YouTube, any questions, comments, feedback you may have, hit us up in the chat. We'll get right to it. So, Scoop, before we get into the NBA things of it all, I know we haven't had you on in quite some time, but just want to make sure how you doing, how's the family, what's been going on with you, all that good stuff.
Man, I'm doing good. I'm maintaining. Scoopy Radio is moving. Episodes weekly. We just dropped something with Cedric Ceballos a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about LeBron and the slam dunk contest. We've had anybody over the last few months from Darryl Strawberry to Owens to a lot of people. Check that out. Subscribe to Scoop BTV on YouTube, and also subscribe to Scoopy Radio on all streaming platforms. And then the Scoopy blog. We drop written interviews with players across the league weekly. We have a banger that we're dropping on Monday that's definitely going to go viral when we drop it. So we've dropped anything from Pascal Siakam to Jaylen Brown to a myriad of other people. And that's weekly over at scoopy.com in the blog section. So just staying busy.
Nice, man. Sounds good. So speaking of LeBron, I guess we'll go right into it. So obviously, you know me, surfing the web the last couple of days, and I came across something that I felt that could be very good to bring up. Obviously, we're in the land of, you know, we don't know what's going on. We hear things, certain rumors, innuendos. So we'll take it for it with a grain of salt. So we have, I saw it early in the week, that Brian Windhorst says that LeBron might be playing somewhere else next year, according to him, or the possibility of LeBron not being on the Lakers. Cleveland is, hold up, there you go. Cleveland is one of them. I'm not sure if I put the Heat on that list. Golden State, depending on how things go, would be another one. There's also two other destinations that he feel could be in the thinking process of LeBron if he does decide to leave the Lakers. But B, I know you are around a lot of these people. This is All-Star time, so you hear a lot of rumors. What do you make of what Wendy said about if this is LeBron's final year with the Lakers, that there are some maybe 2 to 4 suitors for him coming up this summer?
I think Brian Windhorst copied off my own paper.
Damn, Wendy.
Damn, Wendy, doing bad out here.
I can tell you that if you go back to about July during the summer league, David had reported that there were 4 teams that were interested in LeBron, and who had actually reached out to Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, about his interest and where he was as far as whether he was happy with the Lakers. And if you go back to my reporting back in July, I had reported that there were 4 teams, and Wendy had 2 of the teams, which were which were the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2 other teams at that time, as I reported, were the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. And there's a lot of synergy with the Mavericks for a lot of reasons. And personnel that's in Dallas. And then as far as the Clippers goes, I mean, obviously it is Clippers Nation and Los Angeles Lakers Nation. That their stadiums are a bit apart from each other. Inglewood is closer to LAX, but it's still the Los Angeles area. I can tell you that I did have conversation with those who are in the know and familiar with LeBron's thinking. And it was confirmed to me that those 4 teams were the teams that did reach out to LeBron's representation, Rich Paul, about that. If you look at my Instagram, you know the type of people I'm around. So that goes. As far as where LeBron is right now, it was intimated to me in November that LeBron is enjoying the OG in residence stature that he has currently within the Lakers organization, and that he is enjoying playing alongside Luka. However, I can tell you that conversations that I've had in person in Cleveland is that the Cleveland Cavaliers would welcome LeBron with open arms if he decided to come back at a homecoming of sort. And I can also say that the Warriors would make sense from a personnel standpoint, particularly because of LeBron's relationship with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and others. And of course, he'd have to come as a free agent. At the time when I reported those 4 teams back in July, it was more along of an exploratory talk with those teams to see if they could come together and make something happen. And it was told to me then that Cleveland would welcome LeBron next season, and that Dallas similarly. Golden State, I think there was a small window at the deadline, but nothing ever was really talked about and materialized in Dallas. I know they're building around Cooper Flag. So the win that to me is more along the lines of what was discussed in July.
Before we go on, I just did the tweet out for the show. Somehow it didn't pop off at 9:05. So if you guys see that on your Twitter timeline, just give a retweet to that so we get more people in here. Don't ask me why. I don't know why it happened, but yeah. So we're live now. So Denny, Joe,
we're here.
No, I'm
You want
saying
me to go first?
Apologies. Yeah, I wanted to give the mic, the floor to Scoop. But yeah, I'll go first in reference to LeBron and these teams that he possibly could go to. And I think about Cleveland and I ask myself, yes, Cleveland would want him there, but then I look at James Harden and I looked at Donovan Mitchell and I ask myself, does that make sense? Then I look at Golden State and I ask myself, can they make a quick championship run in about 2 years? Possibly. In about 1 or 2 years. Scoop, where do you think, based on your expert tutelage of basketball, what do you think LeBron makes sense the most?
Cleveland.
Why?
Full autonomy. And the basketball, I think LeBron can play in any situation. It's funny. I was playing 2K earlier today, and I was now, and not that this has anything to do with basketball, just thinking. And I'm looking at the lineup, and I'm looking at their personnel on the floor, and I'm looking at James Harden as a playmaker, and I'm looking at they were parts of the season where Donovan Mitchell was the point guard, and that is why they got James Harden as a playmaker. But I think when you look at the Cavaliers' personnel. I think James Harden and LeBron's skill set are so interchangeable. When you looked at James Harden with the Clippers organization, for example, you looked at a starting lineup that included Chris Dunn, as well as James Harden, as well as Kawhi Leonard, and then you had Ivica Zubac and whoever started at the 4. To me, Dunn's position and Harden's position were interchangeable. And in some aspects, you kind of look at Harden playing point guard, and then you look at Dunn kind of moving like a Boobie Gibson to a LeBron James during their time in Cleveland. To me, if you were to look at a situation where LeBron hypothetically were to go to the Cavaliers, to me it would be more of a similar, more polished version of what Dwayne Wade and LeBron in Miami would look like. A lot of people wondered, well, can those two guys play together because they play the same position? You guys notice there's a fill-out process when you're playing alongside each other. Chris Bosh kind of balanced it out because they both commanded the double team. So to go to your question about Cleveland, I think Harden and LeBron could play alongside each other because the offense is the offense. You know, it's about, at the end of the day, it's about scoring the ball. It's also about creating mismatches and creating, you know, you got Jared Allen and then you have Evan Mobley, who are basically the Chris Boshes and the Kevin Loves of the world that are screening and rolling and being able to catch the ball when you're double teaming Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron. Can it work? Yes. LeBron would have to either significantly take a pay cut to go to Cleveland, or they'd move somebody in order to pay him maybe somewhat of what he wanted. But I feel like, in answer to your question as to why, 1, autonomy, 2, the roster, 3, I still do think that LeBron does have aspirations of being teammates with his other son, Bryce. And I think Cleveland would give him the autonomy, whether that's him doing the two-way thing, whether that's him actually in the next 2-3 years getting good enough that he's a lottery pick and he forges his own path. However you work that out, I think he has a better chance playing alongside Bryce in Cleveland than he would anywhere else, including the Golden State Warriors.
Scoop, thank you for the insight. I think you make a lot of sense. I actually fact checked your post about this back in July, so super dope to kind of full circle moment where we at this moment talk about LeBron. So great work on that. My opinion on this, Denny, is, you know, this is the storybook ending you want for LeBron. I think that him on LA has ran his course, or running his course.
Yep.
I think that him being in a corner, being a stretch 3-point shooter is not really his game. And I think in terms of Luka, he demands so much space in terms of the paint. And they got slow bigs that don't really, you know, that's not interchangeable. So I think, you know, on top of that, you know, you have a coach that's dealing with a lot of other situations, trying to keep that team together. You know, you gotta, you know, people ask to play with LeBron, but it takes a very special crew to work and play with LeBron. You know, he demands a lot of respect, but also, you know, he demands the opportunity to, like Scoop said, the autonomy to go back to his hometown team, the team that drafted him, the team that made him the chosen one, the team that made him the perennial star he is. I think it's a great storybook ending. I'd rather him do that than go do this rendition of him at LA. I don't think it'll end pretty well. And him going to Cleveland would definitely, you know, when he went back to Cleveland in 2013, he showed and proved why he's the king. I think in that second run, I hope that my dates are right. Him coming back home, 2014. Yeah. Thank you. So that was a major statement for his career. I think that him winning the championship by himself and in that aspect, or in terms of like him holding that, his game really expanded. And I think that as much as he wanted to work in Cleveland, Scoop, I think that it was hard for him to let it go. But him coming back and then not having the weight to take this whole franchise and bring it to a promised land again is something that he can't do right now. And I think having Donovan and Harden and those two bigs you mentioned without touching the salary cap, especially the second apron, which they over the second apron,
right?
I think it says a lot. And I think that's probably going to be a 2 to 3 year stretch in terms of LeBron phasing out. And I think it's a great story, but ending him going back to Cleveland.
Can I add something there?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I feel like LeBron going to Golden State would be reminiscent of Karl Malone and Gary Payton going to the Lakers in 2000. Like
that's a good one.
You like LeBron going back to Cleveland is like Nelly and Ashanti finally getting back together and getting married and having a kid. Like you got to finish what you started. And I also think that LeBron's first stint with Cleveland when he was drafted in 2003 and did his thing and it ran its course. It kind of was like Giannis before the Bucks ultimately won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And Giannis commanded and demanded that Milwaukee do some things, and they ended up winning, right? So when LeBron left Cleveland the first time and went to Miami, LeBron all he knew was Northeast Ohio. You know, Akron is a good 30 minutes from Cleveland, and of course he played some of his high school games at the former Gund Arena, and then he went to Miami, and then Miami was a new challenge because that was really like the kid going to grad school or going to college finally, and then coming back home. And then figuring things out. And then, all he learned in Miami, he took that to Cleveland. A team. If you really look back at LeBron in Cleveland the first time going to Miami, that really was a sign and trade. And that sign and trade actually benefited Cleveland because that move got Cleveland, Tristan Thompson, and Kyrie Irving in the draft in 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So when you look at that move, he actually GM'd his own move to Miami, got Cleveland was horrible, and then they got top picks, and then he came back to Cleveland, and then they won in 2016. And then in 2018, it was imminent that he was going to Los Angeles. Los Angeles was if you go back to my reporting in 2018, I talked about this. It was more about big business. It was more about creating television programs. It was more about bringing Cleveland to Hollywood, if you will. Both he and Mav and Rich and all those other guys, they all were doing what they needed to do. But at this point, the next move is grand opening, grand closing. The retirement tour, if he decides he wants to do it. I have to say if, because you know how people get on Twitter. Scoop said this: if he goes to Cleveland and all of that happens, it would make logical sense because of all the pieces that are there. And Kenny Atkinson is not a bad coach. He's very knowledgeable, and I think you got a good team around you and a good supporting cast. Not just Harden and Donovan Mitchell. You got Dean Wade. You have Sam Merrill. You have some of the other guys on that team. It's a perfect fit.
Scoop, staying on LeBron, do you think that LeBron gets a statue in LA? We had this conversation in the last show about LeBron stops, right? And how he would be tainted in terms of how he switched teams and created super teams. And again, those rules back in those days favored those situations. He took advantage of it. Do you think he gets a statue, obviously in Cleveland? Did you get a statue in Miami? And did he get a statue in LA? Which one of those you feel will be LeBron's statue destinations?
So it's interesting. I had that conversation with Shaq, where we talked about the whole LeBron statue thing, and I'm actually looking for the quote as I'm talking to you. He said LeBron James deserves a statue in front of crypto because he bought a championship to Los Angeles. A lot of people say that don't count, and if you can't count his, then you can't count Mr. Tim Duncan's bubble championship. That's right, I said it. Of course,
man.
The lockout shortened season, but knowing what I know about the Los Angeles Lakers and being around legends, that's a very touchy topic from folks in the purple and gold, and they feel like, the best have statues, whether that's Kareem, whether that is Chick Hearn even, or Magic Johnson. LeBron is a name, but I do think that had the Lakers won two, it's a conversation. I'm not sure at this point if it is a conversation. Kobe, of course, has a statue. But if you're asking me about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're the first team to give him a statue. If you're asking me about the Miami Heat, yeah, I do think he deserves a statue there. And I think he deserves a statue there because he was in his prime. He didn't bring them 6, 7, and 8 championships, but he did bring them a solid 2. And Dwayne Wade's second iteration of being a superstar playing alongside LeBron. But you saw the person who got it first, and that's Dwayne Wade. And it's interesting because even though that statue doesn't look like him at all,
oh yeah, definitely.
I look at the way that organizations roll out either Ring of Honors or more. And Shaq, for example, in Orlando, I was at his jersey retirement ceremony. He was the first, and it made sense for Orlando to retire his first. And for them, I've always felt that Nick Anderson was underrated and didn't get the respect that he deserved in Orlando. But Dwight Howard getting that honor made sense. Penny should get that honor. And I look at Miami. I don't think Shaq, for example, deserves a statue in Miami. He won 1 championship there, right? And I feel like that same argument for Shaq applies to LeBron in Los Angeles. Yeah, Shaq was a force, but he played second fiddle to a Wade, but Shaq was a dominating force. When you look at Los Angeles, I think that the bubble championship is still a championship, whether Shaq wants to admit that or not. But I don't think he is of the same ilk in Los Angeles, winning wise, as a Laker, as Magic, Kobe, Kareem, and others.
I agree.
Before we move on from LeBron, as of today, February 12th, what's the percentage you feel LeBron stays in LA or moves to a different team? Like, is it 50-50, 60-40 staying, or where we at according to you?
I don't think you can really judge it at the halfway point of a season, and I'll tell you why. For example, I knew in 2018 probably right after the finals that LeBron was going to Los Angeles, and I knew it from the fact that he wasn't going to be on the cover of 2K with a Cavs jersey, and there was a lot of talk with that within the 2K organization or 2K conglomerate of that. But I also knew all of the things and all of the tax breaks that his business was running, making a move to California, which made sense. And that those were things that were in the works prior to the 2018 finals. I think that for LeBron, what's different from 2018 to 2026 is the fact that there's a pressure of the fact that the Lakers did not re-sign him over the summer, which is why he was posturing the way that he was posturing over the summer, posing at the former Clippers facility, even though that is an office that Clutch uses now. And then his agent Rich Paul making overtures of talking about the 4 different teams. I think if the Lakers win a championship hypothetically this season, I think it would be more difficult for LeBron to leave Los Angeles. However,
okay,
right. So when we talk about the pressure part, you look at the fact that the NBA is wide open. I know they talk about the East being wide open. I'm not certain that the West is a lock either. There are teams not named Oklahoma that are talented. I think you look at Denver. I think you look at certain teams. There are other teams that are out there. Imagine a world where the Lakers hypothetically won a championship. That's going to be very difficult for LeBron to be like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to Cleveland. That's going to be a difficult pivot. So for me, that's why I can't just say today, hey, 50-60, 60-40. LeBron is complex like that. He doesn't move like that. It's a little different.
Yeah. Then did you have one more on LeBron, or we moving on?
No, I think we've all shared the same sentiment and ideas on where LeBron's going to be, and well, actually where we want him to be versus where we don't want him to be. I think we're all in unison when it comes to that.
Yeah, I don't see the Clippers. I think no. Let's cut the bullshit. I don't see the Clippers.
Nah.
The Warriors look, I'll tell you what. The Warriors make sense. A return to the Lakers makes sense. Cleveland at this point is at the top of my list if he were to move. But I'll tell you another team that I think really is interesting: the San Antonio Spurs.
Really?
Wow.
LeBron to the Spurs.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Over the summer, when there was talk about Kevin Durant potentially going to the Spurs, I know that the Spurs were never trading the 2nd and the 14th pick to Phoenix to get Kevin Durant, because the San Antonio Spurs had a meeting and they only visited Dylan Harper at his high school, Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey, and watched him work out. And they told Dylan and other guys on the team, we're looking to build around a young core, and you're part of it. We're not trading to get Kevin Durant. We're moving, and you can fact check that too. But they said that they were looking to build around him. So I know the Spurs aren't spending a lot of money to bring talent in. And to me, I think, even having this conversation about the Spurs, I think LeBron has always had an appreciation for that organization, but he's not familiar with that organization. He's familiar with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I don't see the Clippers today. I would actually replace the Spurs as a topic of conversation. But I still do think that this is a fill-out period with the Lakers. And if he were to leave the Lakers, I feel, based upon my intel, that the Cavs would be the first team that he and his team would consider.
All right, Danny, I'll go to you first on the next topic. We got School B, Brandon School B Robinson in the building. It's in the Game podcast, doing this live. So was it last night? This morning I saw the 2026 Basketball Hall of Fame finalists. Obviously, there's a plethora of names that were brought up, I think, like a month or two ago, and now they're dwindling down to what they have as of what I saw yesterday. Sorry. Hold on. It is the notable names are Doc Rivers, Blake Griffin, Amari Stoudemire, Candace Parker, and Elena Delle Donne. There's a few other people that are finalists, but these are the more notable names that are on display. So, Denny Blanco, while I bring it up again, how you feeling about the finalists? Doc, Blake, Amari, Candace, Deladon. What are you thinking?
All right, let me take this real well. Then again, we have a guest, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Doc Rivers, God bless. It's a lot of wins for Doc. It's a lot of wins, but lately I'm just asking for more. So I understand why Doc Rivers is there. Amari Stoudemire, Suns jersey. That Amari Stoudemire, that variant of Amari Stoudemire, not the one in New York, but the one in Phoenix. Nasty man. Him obviously he's not playing with obviously he's not playing with Steve Nash. I don't think Steve wins those MVPs. But that's just me, And then Candace Parker. Hey, Candace Parker is great at what she does. She's one of the greatest basketball players, period, I've ever seen. That's just me. Basketball players I've ever seen. And obviously, Elena Deladon. And I think you said Blake, right? Blake? Well,
yeah, Blake.
Blake, man, I wish that team for the Clippers went far. That team with Chris Paul and JJ Redick and DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford. Man, I thought they was right there. And a couple injuries here and there, and then poof, gone. So to land the plane, these finalists, some I love tremendously, and some I'm just like, what say you?
No, so out of these five we see on the screen, who's a lock? Who's more like?
Who's a lock? I mean, I think Candace Parker and I think Candace Parker's a lock for me anyway. Okay. Off rip. And then secondly, I'll go Doc Rivers based on the wins.
I don't usually like to agree with you, but I'm agree with you on this one. The Deladon, I get she was injury prone, but I mean she's fantastic. I'm gonna go with Candace Parker, one of the women that changed the game in WNBA. Let's not get it twisted. Somebody that was a Kevin Durant type of player in her sport. She dominated. She won championships. She went to Chicago, won a championship. She won USA medals, so I definitely a lock. Doc Rivers for me is a lock by the wins. Championship in Boston. Scoop, I'm a little bit conflicted on that because he's lost pivotal playoff games. He has not brought this team to the promised land on a lot of occasions with a lot of super teams. So I like to get your opinion on that. But before I give you that, I want to say that I'm not really convinced on the Blake Griffin getting that notable. I don't think he's done enough on his career to get that honor. And again, not disrespecting his game. But in terms of what he came in with, the hype, and what he left with in terms of, changing his game and making an all-star team in Detroit, I will give you that. But I don't think it's notable for a Hall of Fame status, or at least a nominee right now. But I'm going to go with Doc. I'll let Scoop chime in on that playoff run with him in terms of just brutal losses. And I don't know if that really gets my vote, but in terms of that list right there, I'm going to take those two as well, just like Denny said.
Before you go, Scoop, two notable names that were not on the finalists. Okay. Penny Hardaway and Jamal Crawford did not make the final roster, which, they should have.
I mean, I'll go with Penny. But I'll let Scoop take the Doc one again.
Well, there's a couple things. One, I just want to say that that when the Hall of Fame is political. Two, Hall of Fame inductions aren't just based off of what you do in the NBA. It's also a combination of what you do on the collegiate level, the NBA level, and the high school level.
Point.
And it's not to, at face value, you'll look at Blake and say that. I'll tell you why I do think that Blake could likely get the nod. One, he's on TV, so you're memorable. Two, he's a 6-time All-Star. He's made 5 All-NBA teams, 3 second teams, 2 third teams, but he was also Rookie of the Year, and he was a Slam Dunk Contest champion. I think oftentimes when you're a name, when you're memorable, when you're doing commercials and more, I've heard people make that argument about Grant Hill, where people felt that he was injured a lot in the NBA, but when you look at his college career, he was stellar. When you look at his high school career, he was stellar. And I looked at Doc Rivers the same way. While we talk about, playoffs and things like that, and you've heard people say, well, he's rode that Celtics championship forever. Aside from that, he was a standout in the state of Illinois in high school. He did his thing at Marquette. And as a coach, he is in the same ilk, percentage-wise, winning-wise, as Phil Jackson, as Lenny Wilkens, as Don Nelson, some of those other guys, even Rick Carlisle. And, it's interesting. I actually spent some time with Doc recently, and we talked about his relationship with the late Lenny Wilkens, who recently passed away at the age of 88. He's always rubbed elbows with the greats. And what he said to me about Lenny Wilkens was he felt that he was a blend of fierce competitiveness and quiet humanity. As a player, I remember him as a fiery coach. And the thing that he said is, you don't win that much being meek. He's the greatest example I think I've ever seen of a guy who could be nice and deadly at the same time. And then he said to me, he felt that Lenny Wilkens did not get enough credit for what he did as a coach. And I feel like Lenny Wilkens, did have, if I'm not mistaken, the championship in '79 with the Seattle Supersonics.
I think so, yeah.
It bounced around. He also lost a lot of games too. But when you win a lot of games, you lose a lot of games too. I just think for Doc, he's part of that country club. He's gonna get in. Deladon, I didn't watch her enough to really have a comment. I did watch Candace Parker. I definitely think she's a lot because I feel like Candace crawled so that Asia Wilson and many others could fly. And so I think it's a solid list. If I can, I also think the name who was not a first ballot Hall of Famer that I really feel should get it this time is one in Marcus Johnson, who legendary UCLA legend, and is now the voice of the Milwaukee Bucks on TV and radio. I hope that we don't just look at him as the man on White Man Can't Jump that was about to really set it off. I really think you should look at his career and you should really honor somebody who's been in the trenches for a very, very long time.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I it wouldn't shock me if they all get in. Because at this point, it's like I don't want the NBA just to feel like, all right, we just got to get anybody to bring in for the Hall of Fame, and not everybody is going to be a champion. Not everybody's going to be an MVP, scoring champion. It's just about the impact you had on the court, whether you're in the W or the main NBA, what you do off the court. Because obviously a lot of these Hall of Fames are like, all right, it's cool what you do on the court, but how you keep yourself outside of the game, especially baseball nowadays. So we saw Football Hall of Fame not even put in Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of weird shit going on with these Hall of Fames. So it's either like B said, politics going on. But I think a lock, like Denny said, is Candace Parker. I think between Amari and Blake, either they both get in, but if only one gets in, I think Amari might have a slighter edge over that than Blake.
Amari was ahead of time,
Phoenix Amari. Like you're going back 20 years when him and Duncan was going at it in the conference finals 05 and that whole run up and gun Steve Nash offense with Phoenix, and that changed before the Warriors. Everybody before the Warriors, the Phoenix Suns changed the game with the fucking run and gun offense, and it's been like that ever since for over 20 years. So maybe that adds to the list of Amari Stoudemire. Doc Rivers, I think he'll get in, but a lot of people are going to be like, well, he lost like 4 or 5 game 7s and didn't get the big one. He got one with Boston, but he could have had more with the Clippers later on in life. But if these 5 all get in, they all got the attributes for the reason why they get in. But it'll be a little shocking if they don't get in.
What did Hov say? All you gotta be is right once.
There you go.
Once.
I just want to say real quick for Deladon, for I know Scoop said he's not too familiar, but let me just familiarize you with this lineup. Right. Ready? WNBA champion 2019, 2-time league MVP, 7-time WA All-Star, 4-time All WNBA first team, All NBA second team, All the WNBA 25th anniversary team. She's part of the 50, 40, 90 club in 2019. She won the Rookie of the Year. And then besides that goes her collegiate career and everything on that. And also before I let you chime in, I would say what you said, Scoop, about Amari. Amari was before his time, right? But he came at the wrong time with those two forwards in the West, man, with Garnett and Duncan. I mean, listen, he had a juggernaut forward. I think he's before his time, but he came at the wrong time. Like I agree with you, and I'm Sean Kemp. Like there's so many like dynamic power forwards, hybrid forwards, the way Amari played that really stopped him from getting to that promised land because they were just as dynamic as he was. And I mean KG, I mean Kevin Durant, I mean Tim Duncan. So it's pretty amazing.
So I agree what you're saying about the competitiveness in the Western Conference and hands down. The same could be said about Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets and them not being able to get past the Lakers and the Spurs in the Western Conference. But again, I take that and raise you this. The Hall of Fame is about your contributions to high school, what you do to represent your country, what you do in the NBA. And if you go back to Cypress Creek High School in the Orlando area where Amari went to high school, he was basketball in the state of Florida in 2002, I believe. And then in addition to that, he was higher ranked than Lenny Cook, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James in high school. He was kicking ass. And so if while I say he was ahead of his time, I still feel like he crawled so Giannis could fly because there are parts of his game that remind him of that. But you also have to take into consideration it's not about who you lost to in the playoffs. It's about your contribution to basketball.
6-time All-Star Randy, All NBA first team, 4-time NBA All NBA second team, Rookie of the Year, NBA All First Rookie Team, number 32 retired by the Phoenix Suns. He's a 2-time Israeli basketball premier champion. He's the MVP of that league. I have to agree with Scoop on that. If you're gonna count the other attributes of the game, I have to meet you there. And then the other thing, Scoop, go.
And you know why I think he's gonna get in? Because if I'm not mistaken, those Colangelos are still in that voting process. And he played for the Phoenix Suns, and the Colangelos run the Hall of Fame over there. He's going to get in.
So I want to ask you, because me and Denny talked offline when this topic was coming up. How do you feel about Stephon Marbury? Would he ever get an opportunity to be considered?
He should get in.
That's why.
Right? Because Dennis feel the same way. You feel the same way.
So look, Stephon, high school. His stats over 20 points a game in the NBA, and his international contributions
absolutely
to the game of basketball. 2 statues in China, and he brings business to the Knicks and the NBA, and that business reverberates between the U.S. and China. Yeah, he should, and absolutely. I think, and I know that he's repairing a lot of things internally that have gone on, both with the Knicks and just across the league. And a lot of this stuff is a popularity contest. You talked about Belichick. It's a perception. It's in the case of Belichick, it's burned bridges or people feeling a way about the Deflategate. For Stephon, I think there's a perception of what happened with the Knicks and things that happened in the front office and him and things that had for it. But then at the same time, I also think that he was labeled as misunderstood and kind of just a rogue agent, if you will. And so I think he'll repair that, and at some point he will be voted in as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Scoop, let me know how much time you have left.
I got some time. Talk to me. We got to talk.
Cool. Not good. All right. So we're doing this live. So thank you to the 150 plus who have tapped in the first half hour plus. Thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Anybody got questions, comments, or feedback, hit us up on youtube.com/cruise control podcast. Also live on X. You want to go somewhere serious? You want to go a little fun now? Scoop, tell me.
Your world, I just live in it. Tell me.
All right. All right. So as I'm circling around Twitter the last couple of days, I think it was yesterday, I came across, or bring it up. This is like a part, like two or 3 part kind of thing. All right.
Okay.
So I go on here, right? So there's a tweet saying Vince Carter said that the NBA offered him, T-Mac, Kobe, and LeBron $1 million to do a dunk contest, but Vince was the only one that agreed. So let us hear him real quick.
Speaking of, since we're on that topic, do you remember
the $1 million?
Yeah. The phone call? They wanted me, you, Cole, and Braun for sure for $1 million. And I said, I'm in if everybody else is in. And then
No. I'm good.
I felt like at the end of the day, I would love to get confirmation, but I felt like I was the only one that said yes.
That was the problem.
Never got a phone call back, and it kind of faded away.
Okay, so now, hold up. Bye-bye, hold up.
We them boys. Hold
So
up.
now the question becomes, just the greatest dunk contest to never happen. NBA, they offer some money to the top flight people, T-Mac, Vince Carter, Kobe, LeBron. I assume it's like 03, 04 range, maybe 05. But they never got a call back. Only Vince said, yo, I'm down. What do you make of what Vince said about this potential dunk contest for $1 million that never happened?
They got a new podcast called Cousins, and it's over at the FanDuel Sports Network, and they got to get them clicks and they got to get them viewerships. I think Luka Doncic was their first guest on the show.
Yeah,
I believed them. I will tell you that the league makes calls like that, private calls like that all the time that you'll never hear about. I believe it because the NBA is in the business of engagement, is in the business of selling tickets, and in business of pleasing the fans. And so that makes sense to me. And I'll just say that, Tracy, I know fairly well. And he is talking a lot about the shoulda, coulda, woulda, and the money behind that. And I'll just say that I believe Tracy because I know what his bag offerings were like coming out of high school and what that could have looked like had he gone to college. And I let him tell the rest of that story. So in that same vein, I know the league was calling him and Vince to make that happen.
Are you before we go to Denny, are you surprised that, again, we're talking about 03, 04, 05. LeBron had to be in the league by then. Kobe did 97. Vince and T-Mac both did 2000. So that they weren't that far removed of like to feel like, nah, I'm good. I'm getting older now. Like they were still in their prime. And to not get a call into VC, to not get a call back, whether LeBron or Cole, whoever, it just like, it just kind of sad how like now we have to throw money out there for people to be even involved. Right now, you don't get the big names doing the dunk contest. You wish, in the fantasy world, you wish. But even at that point in time, there was one little smidget of like, damn, I can get VC, Cole, LeBron, and T-Mac on their prime, one dunk contest for $1 million, and it never happened. It's like, damn, like
I don't think they were sweating that $1 million. I don't think they were sweating that $1 million.
I agree.
Like, but it's bigger than just the money. It's so for example, on this week's episode of Scoopy Radio, we had Cedric Ceballos on, and we talked about, like, I asked him, would it be cool LeBron at 40 or 41 to participate in slam dunk contest? And he said LeBron missed his window. The only time you'll ever see LeBron in the slam dunk contest was during McDonald's All-American game because he does not want to damage his brand. It's so much more than just $1 million for a lot of these guys. And unfortunately, LeBron declining the slam dunk contest reverberated across the league. The same way, so I'll tell you how Bron and Jay-Z are both trendsetters. Jay-Z made it cool for rappers to sit courtside. He made it cool for rappers to have high-profile girlfriends and play nonchalant about it. And now you're seeing all the rappers and ball players with their girlfriends and being lovey-dovey. Glorilla, Brandon Ingram, and you're seeing Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson. It took somebody popular to break that trend, right? But in basketball, you're still seeing the basketball guys being nonchalant. So a lot of guys don't want to participate in those things because they're worried about damaging their brands. Players look at All-Star Weekend as spring break. You either go there to have fun or you go into Maui to get the hell away before you got to go back to work. And the fans are upset because they feel like they're spending money on cable and tickets to go see, and the players don't care. That's what it comes down to.
True.
Denny, what you got?
Oh man, it's a lot. First and foremost, it's a lot. First and foremost, Bron, you're right. He is a trendsetter, and that's it's a little bit part of why I push back on some of the things where he doesn't take part of the dunk contest. Kobe Bryant looks him dead in the face and says, "I want to play defense on you. It's the All-Star game. Let's make this competitive." And LeBron goes, "Meh."
2016 in Toronto, right?
I think so. Yeah.
You Scoop, you already know. So when you bring up look at LeBron. You're right. There's two. So you talk about competitiveness in the All-Star game. Yeah, you're talking about the brand that LeBron can possibly, and then also to the concept is the brand's gonna take a ding if he possibly loses in a dunk contest. How can you lose in something that you literally can do in your sleep? And that's number one. The number two, you mentioned money. Okay. And I'm not, and sidebar, I don't want LeBron to do, the time has passed. I don't want LeBron to do it now. The time has passed. He's an old man.
Yeah.
But time has passed. But money, of course they sneezed at $1 million. Hachu. They sneezed at that. Now, if you want to put 20 on the table, a little light 15, then guys are going to be like, just a dunk? 15, 20 mil?
Yeah.
Possibly. So you throw little pennies at these guys. It's not going to be a lot. Scoop, you want to say something? Big bro?
Yeah, I think you, first of all, you solid analysis, but I'll add, I think there's a difference between winning an in-season championship where there's a group of guys and they're getting $500,000 versus you're participating in a performative competition where if you mess up, everybody's gonna put your bloopers out there, right? So when I look at LeBron, I feel like LeBron is a good in-game dunker, just like I think LeBron is a good in-game dribbler. Do I think he'll be on an N1 mixtape tour doing crossovers and handles? No, and I felt that way even play. He's cool, like you know what I'm saying, like, but he's not to me. He's a good layup line dunker pregame. I look at, and he still has hops, but that doesn't always translate into competition. I feel the same way about Zion. I feel like Zion is a good in-game dunker, but competing and putting in between your legs and all that pressure.
Oh, wait, B. Hold up. You can't say that because in high school, he wasn't just doing the tomahawk. He was doing off the backboard, in between the legs. He was doing all of the backward shit that made people feel like, yo, when he gets to the NBA, he's going to be in the dunk contest, if not rookie year, at least year or two. And we've never had that, but he's one of those, all right, layup line, go crazy, but I can see it in a dunk contest. I saw it in the high school Powerade shit.
So I feel like you're throwing me an alley-oop for my own dunk. In that vein, guys come in and have their own brands, and they're the cool kids. They're the cool kids that stand at the school dance and text and record and put on TikTok and don't dance with girls shaking ass. Maybe putting Zion with that wasn't the best fit. However, what the point I'm making is certain guys are too cool to participate. And I feel like
I agree.
At the end of the day,
then he's still laughing.
Only you're gonna get an Anthony Simons, but you're not gonna get an Anthony Hardaway. You're gonna get a Harold Miner, but you're not gonna get Michael Jordan. Certain guys like Isaiah Ryder that benefited. Kobe, he did it early on, and that was it. Like I feel like the last two slam dunk competitions that were good. I was 2000 in San Francisco when you had Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis, Eddie Robinson, Vince Carter, and
Stackhouse.
Right, and Stackhouse. And then in the last good slam dunk contest was 2016 in Toronto. I was there.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Bro.
And I still think
2020 was okay. I was having too much fun. I wasn't working, and I was taking meetings and at professional meetings and came to the arena. You know, I remember some of it, if you catch what I'm saying. But
yeah,
but Chicago was, from what I remember, was okay. 2016, bruh,
yeah.
next level.
They owe Aaron Gordon a couple of slam dunk championships, by the way.
They do. They
own
2020 they
one.
owed Aaron Gordon.
They own one.
Yeah, 2020.
The one with the Derrick Jones D Wade one. Yeah, I was AG, but the one B said about 2016, the Gordon and Zach LaVine. If you really go back at it, I tell you, Aaron Gordon was phenomenal, but Zach LaVine was doing some other wild shit that none of us combined can do that at any point in life. Well, a fucking a windmill from the foul line. Oh, okay. Then I got it between the legs from the foul line. Like, yo, who's doing that, bro? Then you know what? He did it on one try. He did it on one try.
Zach told me that so it got to a point where Zach hated being like the guy, like the one, like, you know, like when you're in college, the guy that tells the same joke, tell it again. Like, he hated being the guy that was always participating. And I remember he told me this was in 2020, right before the world shut down. He texted me. He said, I'm only going to participate in the slam dunk contest if they bring me in as an all-star. And I felt him, because he felt like in that year in 2020, he was playing good basketball. He felt, especially with it being in Chicago that year, he felt like, I don't just want to be in a three-point shooter, I don't just want to be in a slam dunk. I want to be an all-star, and I've earned the right to participate. And that's another reason why certain guys stop participating, because they don't want to be a one-trick pony.
Got it. You know, it's funny you mentioned real quick. You mentioned 2000 dunk contest. Today is the actual 26th anniversary of that dunk contest. February 12th, 2000. Obviously, you mentioned the people who were involved, and it kind of went along with what I mentioned earlier about VC and getting the money to participate later on. But definitely one of the greatest dunk contests ever. People
Randy, was Tracy McGrady scared?
Scared of what?
Because in that interview, you know, when Vince goes, yeah, you know, I agreed and no one else did. You think it's scared because you know, obviously Scoop, I'm asking you. It's Scoop mentioned it. Is it I'm scared because, you know, I know what you can do and I want to save my brand.
Well, I mean, to be fair, out of those four guys, three of them already did one. And just one guy on that roster who never did it. So we can't even say T-Mac got scared, because, like, probably at that time he's in Orlando now. The money's coming in. He's the face of the franchise. He's probably like, all right, cool, bet. Maybe I ain't trying to fuck with it, because in Toronto in 2000 he was a Raptor, but he wasn't like the main focal point like Vince was.
That was Vince and Del Curry's team. Antonio Davis, Charles Oakley, like that era. Also, if you remember that, if we're dovetailing back and we're looking at 03, 04, LeBron came in the league and was already a competitor of McGrady's at that point. You remember that Christmas game of the Christmas of 03, that game when Cleveland played Orlando. That game was live, and I feel like they sold tickets by themselves without having to participate in the slam dunk contest. I feel like sometimes the NBA is overkill with what they want, and they actually don't know what they want, and they need someone to curate things that fans want that are mutually appealing to the league. But what happens is you got so many sponsors and so many uncool people who think they know what they want, and I'm not going to name names or brands, that it's just overkill. And I think that the overkill, the money and more, is why people are turned away from it. There was something about the All-Star game in 2000 and 96 and even in 01 and 02 in Philly and in Washington, where you had, you know, Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury competing against Jason Kidd and Kobe. Like, them came out there and wanted to play, coming, you know, being down by 20 at halftime and coming back and slaying dragons. Like, it's not like that anymore, because these cool kids know their value.
No, you're right. Are you excited for the dunk contest this year, or do you need to be reminded who's in it?
You don't care.
I mean, you got Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keshad Johnson, and Jace Richardson. Come on, Scoop.
Next.
Hooray for them. I wish them well. But I'll say this: I don't want to be the old head. That All-Star weekend is not for me. It's for my nieces, my nephews, and my younger cousins. That's not my demographic. So you know, like the only thing I feel them on is the colorful sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. So at the end of the day, like, cool. But as far as who's participating, nah, I'm good.
You want to liven it up? You want to liven it up, NBA Whisperer, baby. You want to liven it up? I'll put you on the game. Do this first. Obviously, I like the skills competition. You keep that. Keep the 3-point competition. Keep that, right? Then you add 1-on-1, first to 15, 4 dribbles from the 3-point line. You add that, right? Then you add besides that, the 3-point, besides that particular aspect, maybe throw some more money in. No. This is what I wanted them to do. You bring in for the dunk contest. Forget the NBA players. It's a wrap. They don't want to do it no more. Forget them. You bring in internet stars. You bring in guys that you see them on the internet. You bring them in. You try them out, and you say, okay, out of maybe 100 tryouts, top 20. You bring them in, you whittle it down to like 7 or 5, and let them go at it for slam dunk champion. Forget the NBA players. You gotta make it where the NBA players get to look and see and have fun, because you obviously got players that are going to be in that All-Star game. But you said it's going to be spring break. Make it to where you actually see entertainment.
No, I mean, listen, we just saw it Unrivaled. They do the 1-on-1s over there. I don't know what the rules are for the 1-on-1s, but if they're doing it, I know it's not part of an All-Star weekend, All-Star thing, but they're still doing it. So like,
Stewie got cooked. There's been a couple of big names where I was just like, wait, hold on.
But they don't care if they get cooked, and they're just doing it to have fun. But the NBA is like, it's if they're not doing a dunk contest, imagine them doing a 1-on-1, and God forbid someone gets hurt or whatever. Like they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So Scoop, I probably got one more for you. I know you probably got to run, right?
Talk to me. What's up?
Okay, no, real quick. You said you're a sneakerhead. So also 30 years ago this week, Jordan debuted the Columbia. Where'd you go?
Columbia Jordan 11.
They're so hot they jumped off the screen.
Of this game. Yes,
that's
sir.
right. 96 All-Star game, February 11th, 1996. The MJ's Columbia 11 turned 30. When you see this, are you more like, yo, that's crazy? I remember seeing this game NBC. I had these kicks, or more like, damn, it's really been 30 years, bro. Like, we're getting fucking older.
Homie. Damn, homie. No, seriously.
What happened to you?
Got the sickest vendetta when you come with the listen. 96 Shaq had 25 and 10, and he got cheated out of the MVP in the East. Michael, that was his first All-Star game back. But them Jamaican Pepper jerseys, and that was at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. That was live. It just went with the whole thing. I was just amazed with the color scheme. The color scheme was dope. Like,
yeah.
And you just keep remixing those 11s. Like, my God, like, listen, the Jordan 11 for our generation is the modern day Chuck Taylor sneaker.
No disagreement, no debate. 1,000% correct. But so folks would even understand what the those Converse. For some folks they're like, what? The Converse? Who's that? Whose uncle is that? Converse. Never heard of such a yeah. Converse is still around, y'all. For those that don't know, but they were they were what everybody wore in the league at one point.
So talking about wearing, that's because Scoop is on.
Oh, look at Scoop. See,
I really haven't really touched these because I know it's coming out, right? So I just figured that special guests, like you, could appreciate the sneaker game because I'm a sneakerhead too. So these haven't been touched, Scoop. So I just want to let you know I'm a little retro sneaker guy too. So Shouts to the Jordan 11s, the Columbias.
Right, all day.
Look at Dennis.
That was Scoop. Listen, that's more for Denny, because I know he kept talking shit about his sneaker game and the Jordans and the shit he used to got, right? So you know me, I'm a little quiet, humble dude like you. But when you said sneaker game and you know that's your style, and we get a little old, I want to remind my son over there that I got some shit. I got some shit locked away. So you know, just for you today, Scoop, I wanted to just recognize that special sneaker because I know what it means to us. But it's really more for Denny because you know he's a Jordan head and he don't even have those in his backyard.
Denny's about to start talking sugar honey iced tea. Go ahead, Denny.
No. Thank you, Randy, for that viewing. We appreciate it. The Christmas of your sneaker and it's all its glory. God bless you. All right.
Yeah.
They look great.
Don't mean that.
I don't.
You don't mean that. You don't mean that. It's cool. It's cool. But you know what? I got them and they're very cool. So, but no, one of the best All-Star games ever. I think Scoop mentioned it. I'm not gonna go over that, but one of the most iconic sneaker ever. Anytime Mike, Kobe, or somebody that magnitude puts on sneakers, especially Christmas time, All-Star game, like you said, Scoop, this is a business, man. They know when the lights are on and they know when it's flashing. And you know, as you said earlier with Amari, Jordan was before his time with the sneaker game, and now 30 years later, if anybody want to question who the GOAT is, that we're still having a conversation about the sneaker 30 years ago. And celebrating like it's a birthday. Like I just wanted to put that in perspective. Like these are like birthdays for these sneakers, and that's how monumental and that's how much he means to the game. So when you talk about GOAT talk with LeBron and all these people, like you said, Scoop, like you got to put those in different cabinets, bro. Like let's just keep it real. Like some cabinets you don't want to open, and Jordan was one of them.
Jack said to me, you know, this whole debate thing or who's this and who's that is not really new. He said to me that when you look at players in the NBA, particularly during his era, you kind of have to look at it like a McDonald's menu. And by that, I mean, if the Big Mac is the best thing on the menu to some people's perspective, then Michael Jordan is the Big Mac. But then you also have chicken nuggets, you have filet of fish, you have I never liked that barbecue chicken, but that barbecue rib sandwich. That was, you know, as far as a quarter pounder, double quarter pounder, like there's something on the menu for everybody. There's a shamrock shake that comes out every now and then. There's something for everybody. And I think that's kind of what he was saying was you have to compartmentalize. You may not like him at center, but you might like David Robinson at center, who he dunked on, who he yammed on quite a bit in that 96 All-Star game. But then, you know, you also have Hakeem. You also have Kevin Duckworth. You have a multitude of different people. You have Greg Ostertag that Shaq slapped. You have all these different people.
That's right.
Things. And I don't think that's ever changed.
All right. So let me bring up one more thing for you. So Dwight Howard, I don't know if this is a podcast or some interview, but basically he said what?
He was on the Rich Eisen show earlier.
Okay, Rich Eisen. Yep. So he said our age of basketball was the golden era. LeBron's, KG, Duncan, Shaq, Kobe, KD, D Wade, Curry, CP3, Dirk, Boogie, Melo, Westbrook, Paul Pierce. I mean, I can type all day, but I got the confidence the future will bring us some legends. Just wait. But that is a lot of names. Probably 95% are going to be Hall of Famers or are already in the Hall of Fame. But your thoughts on him saying his era with these names is the golden era of the NBA.
What did Lauryn Hill say? There's nothing new under the sun. What you done did has already been done. Like, he's talking about his era. Michael could talk about his era. Clyde Drexler was one of his biggest competitors. You know, Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets won 2 championships, either when he retired or when he came back from baseball. Like, Dwight is speaking to his era. And I feel like what he said, it was solid. Somebody who grew up watching Bill Russell and Connie Hawkins and some of those other guys will say that era was the best era. Everybody has a perspective. You know, you look at Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he'll say his era with Halliburton and some of those other guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Every era is its era. And so I think he was paying homage to what his era is. But it's interesting because I feel like while Dwight says that, I think that comes at a point where everybody's grandparent and parent said they stopped watching basketball because Michael didn't play. But then when you look at the ratings of now, specifically within the last 8 years, where you see the Warriors and LeBron going at it, the ratings were on par. So it's subjective.
Denny, what you got for Dwight?
Man, it's subjective. I know. I agree. I mean, I'm looking at these names, and yes, when talking about skill level, yeah. If I'm just leave it right there for me. Just as before we get out of here real quick, and I look at these names, and then I think about the skill level right now. So right now, if I'm just off the top of my head, the most skillful players, and obviously we're all gonna chime in as we go. So the most skillful right now, the Cade Cunningham. Still, right? What? KD, Joker, Luca. That's 4.
Shea,
5.
Tatum,
6. Jaylen Brown, 7.
Jalen Brunson, Ant-Man.
Jalen Brunson, Ant-Man.
Wemby.
Jalen Johnson, Wemby. So I mean, we named about 12 guys that are potentially going to be perennial all-stars or have been all-stars and have the skill level of they're scientists when it comes to geniuses when it comes to the game of basketball. So I look at we will see, and obviously you got your Cooper Flags and you got a lot of players coming into the league. So there will be a cycle. There's always a recycle. Just when you think we're not going to see a player, they appear. So what's going to be Jordan? Oh, then it's Kobe. You're probably never going to see another Shaq again. You're probably never going to see another Steve Nash again, but you're going to get close. You're probably never going to see a Derrick Rose, but you may get close. So there's going to be always a cycle that comes back. So I agree with
John Morant is going to be that generation's Derrick Rose.
There you go.
Joe, what do you think?
I have to agree with Dwight, and I agree with the whole panel. I think the players that he mentioned, just the top 7 or 8 are just top-notch performers. The only name that pops out here that I wish their career was a little bit more extended was Boogie Cousins. I think that he's a very underrated player. I think he listen, when you talk about giving problems, like he was a problem. Like you don't want to go to Sacramento and play him, and you didn't want to match up against him. So to see his name there is definitely homage, and one of the names that stood out to me because I just thought he was. I mean, I still think he's a special player. Just got derailed, but I have to agree, everybody. I mean, Melo, Westbrook, Paul Pierce. I mean, the list goes on. So I agree with Dwight, and I feel he got it right.
I think Pierce gets thrusted in LeBron's era, unfortunately. But I also think he's a tweener because he was drafted in 98. But you saw him at his prime when Doc Rivers was the head coach and he and LeBron were going at it, and Kobe were going. I also will say that I look at DeMarcus Cousins and I look at him as a throwback to every Derek Coleman, Antoine Walker, Clarence Weatherspoon out there, lefties or big body guys that even a Julius Randle, you see flashes of that there. He just couldn't stay healthy. So no, I definitely think everybody brings a unique and pointed perspective to their belief in who's who.
Are we still good on time, B?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure. I got 3 more, and then we're good. Let's quickly talk about the NBA expansion. Board of Governors are going to vote this summer on expanding the league by 2 teams. Vegas and Seattle are the favorite, which people have been clamoring for Seattle to come back for God knows how long. What do you think about possible Seattle and Vegas coming to the NBA and the rerouting of like a couple of teams going from east to west or west to east?
Well, as far as the Vegas and the Seattle conversation, the two worst kept secrets. Yeah. In the NBA, Seattle obviously lost their bid to Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City, of course, was test run when the Pelicans went to Oklahoma City during Katrina, and so Oklahoma City says, "Did you guys know that arena that the Oklahoma City Thunder currently play in Paycom was actually designed as a hockey arena because they thought they were going to put hockey there?" Yeah. So if you hallway, it's like shaped like a WWE hallway when they're doing all the behind the scenes stuff. Like it's wild, like learning that history. But as far as Seattle goes, it makes sense. Sean Kemp's Slick Watts, Jack Sikma, Lenny Wilkins, Gary Payton, George Karl. That history has been there for some time. You got the Mariners, you got the Seahawks who just won a Super Bowl. Now is the time to kind of usher that in. As far as Vegas, the NBA does tons of business in Vegas throughout the course of the year, whether that is the in-season tournament or whether that is Summer League, which generates a lot of money and makes sense. And as far as alignment of other cities, I do think the Memphis Grizzlies should go east. I also look at the New Orleans Pelicans regionally team that could go east. Vegas and Seattle staying in the West makes sense to me because Portland is there, and so Portland and Seattle aren't that far from each other. Vancouver is a neighbor geographically, so to me, moving Memphis and moving New Orleans to the Eastern Conference would benefit both of those teams because they get their butts kicked every year.
Yeah. Danny or Joe, your thoughts about the expansion in Vegas or Seattle?
It's about time. I think it's long overdue. I think when we look at Seattle, we always think about Key Arena, and we think about that Seattle Space Needle. These are iconic places that when you go to Seattle, you got to, if you're a sports fan like us, you got to go see. I know when me and Randy went to Seattle, we wanted to make sure we pay homage and went to Key Arena and saw, the Space Needle was definitely dope. So, and I couldn't agree more with Scoop. I think the timing is right. With Seattle just transforming their whole franchise and the Seahawks getting a championship and it lines up. And then on top of Vegas, I think Vegas is always a summer league location. Everybody loves to go there. It's a hangout spot. Everybody loves to get, to bet and gamble. FanDuel, you got all that stuff going on. So it makes sense. And I think it gives opportunity for more players to come in the league and more opportunity for coaches. And I think that's always what you want, is to grow the game. And I didn't think about the East, Scoop. That was a good two teams that I would put to the East because they definitely do struggle. But geographically, I didn't put that into the map, so that was a good look on that one. So yeah, I'm definitely with this. I think it's long overdue, and it's time to get some new teams in. The WNBA just did it this year, so it's just it's the right time.
Denny Blanco.
Hey man, more teams to tank with. You feel me? Like, at the end of the day, we need more teams to, add to the tanking team, tanking prowess, if you will. You just add Vegas, you got gambling going on. So that kind of makes sense. Seattle, you got your God bless, you got your the opportunity. It's a good market. It's about making money. Yeah. Adam Silver, it's about making money. Quite frankly, to be honest with you, another 5 or 6 years, I wouldn't be surprised if see, right now, it's quiet as kept, NBA Whisperer, and obviously we got Scoop here to either confirm or deny what I'm saying. So, NBA Whisperer, I wouldn't be surprised if overseas we have an overseas, maybe a two team overseas somewhere that's added to the league. Because right now they're fighting the other leagues. They're fighting because they don't want market share stolen from them overseas. So pay attention to that. I'm watching.
Yeah, the Board of Governors do have a meeting in March where some of those topics are going to be brought up that you mentioned. And to me, why wouldn't it make sense to bring 2 more teams when back in '95 you did that with the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors, 2 Canadian teams, and you still have 1 Canadian team left. And Vancouver just wasn't the best market. The coolest thing that ever came out of Vancouver was the taping of 21 Jump Street, but the Vancouver Grizzlies and Brian Reeves wasn't it.
21.
Not even the jersey. Not even the jersey, Scoop. Those are hot jerseys. No, Fire. Mike Bibby was there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the jerseys were cool, but Memphis retros them. So, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
True.
Got you. All right.
But
no beef.
No, none taken, and nothing on my end. 21 Jump Street is the coolest thing that came out of Vancouver to me.
Nice. I got 2 more for you, I swear. Early today, we saw Jeremy Sohan from the Spurs going to sign with the New York Knicks. Obviously, we had the whole trade deadline stuff go on last week. They picked up Alvarado, and now they add Sohan from San Antonio to their roster. The question is, big move for the Knicks. I know that they had one more spot to fill up, and that spot is taken by Jeremy Sohan, a guy that, not the best shooter in the world, but he can, a great ball handler, defensive guy. Sean Marion-esque, but without the jump shot, just go up and down, cardio, gonna play hard. That kind of player is coming to the Knicks. What do you think about Sohan to New York?
It works. I know they were looking at Cam Thomas before he went to Milwaukee as well. Sohan works for them. I don't think they need a volume scorer at this point. They need a fortified defender, and they have and I think they did that. I think now is the best time to be light skinned and Puerto Rican in the United States right now. Definitely.
Benito. Benito. Denny.
The Knicks did both this week. They got somebody light skinned, they got somebody Puerto Rican. They winning right now. But in all seriousness, I think that just you add role guys. You fortify the roster with guys that aren't necessarily starters, but could spell in starter minutes when you need them. Or I definitely think Sohan fits that, and I think he'll be more free flowing. He fell out of the rotation in San Antonio, and they're building with they're just very guard heavy, San Antonio, and that works for them. Whether you have Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and then from Sacramento that came to San Antonio, the point guard,
Fox,
De'Aaron Fox. Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't had my evening coffee yet, but no, like I look at what that does for the Knicks, and it's a fit.
Randy, all I was going to say was he's 22.
Yeah.
And he's going to get real familiar with Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Jaylen Brown. He's going to get real familiar with a couple of Jason. He's going to get real familiar. Come down K Cunningham. You and
Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey.
Y'all all going to be friends. All going to be hanging out together
real soon.
Real soon.
What'd you make of the Alvarado pickup?
I liked it. I always knew he'd be a Knick. To me, Jose and I talked last year, and it was an article from last year that I wrote that was spinning on the internet like the last week or so, and he talked about how much of respect he had for the Knicks organization. His point of entry with the Knicks was Jeremy Lin and Melo, and I know that makes us feel old, but at the same time, it was a fit that made sense organizationally, because I know the Pelicans were looking to move something at the deadline. They didn't get everything that they wanted to get, but it did appease Alvarado to come to New York. A guy that just knows he fits. Like if he didn't fit in New York, he'd fit in Philly. He's scrappy. It works.
Yeah. Last one. I'll start with you, Scoop. Then I go to Joe. Then I end with Dennis on this one. So obviously with the podcast, we try to find different things that are in entertainment, pop culture, music, whatever, movies that have like an anniversary coming up, or just something that pops out, like it did with the kicks with Jordan. So I did my research, and it's kind of our wheelhouse. So tomorrow is February 13th, and two classic hip hop albums both came out on the same day, and they both make 30 years tomorrow. So I want to get your input on that. So Fuji's The Score and Tupac's All Eyes on Me both turn 30 this week, actually tomorrow, and I think Tupac's album is being inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. I think only the ninth hip hop album to ever be in that to get that award. So talk to me. Tupac, All Eyes on Me, Fuji's The Score, 30 years. What do you make of both albums?
I'll be honest, All Eyes on Me didn't resonate with me until I got to college and I was DJing and announcing basketball games in college.
Okay.
You're getting instrumentals when people are touching the ball during timeouts, and then you're editing stuff so that there's no cuss words. So to me, All Eyes on Me didn't hit me the same until then. But the Fuji's The Score for me in '96 was monumental. I remember being a kid playing in the classical band, and Killing Me Softly was composed for the whole orchestra, and we played it like all the way down to the dang 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 with the guitar in the back. Like to me, that album was key. And then you saw Lauryn Hill go on to have a one album solo career that people still want to come back. And to me, both albums are classic, but the score definitely has special meaning to me.
All right, Joe.
The scores will always be my high school anthem. I kind of feel that I kind of when I hear some songs that bring me back to the high school vibes. I mean, so, listen, you talk about two legendary albums of all time that pretty much transformed hip hop, and maybe the way we see it, Scoop and Denny. Like, you know, I mean, we could throw a lot of artists out there, but these are two of the most prominent artists in our time that really, you know, took the game over. So to see again 30 years that it being celebrated, that means it has some great shelf life. And where you can always hear this album and you be like, damn, I remember this time. Or it's not a type of out. These albums are not the type like, damn, I don't miss this song, you know. And you know, we know Tupac with his history. I mean, this is the prime of his career, getting to a point where they got to the controversy with New York and Biggie and all that stuff. So we seen that on movie, we see it in the movie, we seen the documentaries. So salute to those, you know, albums. Deserves his right place in Hip Hop Hall of Fame. And it's great to see Tupac get the honor of get that album in 9th of all time in Grammys. I mean, Tupac's a legend, Fuji's a legend. I mean, Lauryn Hill still performs and kicking ass and taking orders. So shout out to both of them.
Yes, sir.
Denny Blanco.
Ready or not, here I
I
come. You
can't
can't hide.
hide.
It's unfortunate, you know. We'll never get a Fuji's moment. The album with Diamond. So yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with Tupac. I'm familiar with his catalog, but the score for that year, it transcended. They call it the crossover. It crossed over. Okay, number one, it crossed over. MTV could not play "Killing Me Softly" enough. Every 3 minutes, they say, "Rewind that Lauryn Hill." Rewind that Lauryn Hill's. They love these kids. Love it. Every single 2 minutes. So the score, 10 million albums, Diamond, introduction of Lauryn Hill, and then obviously you know what she did with her first album. So I'm you know, the score was it for me for the Fugees.
As we wrap up here, I just want to just kind of say those big notable songs from both California Love, two of America's Most Wanted, How Do You Want It, I Am Mad at You.
Same place at the same time.
Ambitions as a Writer. What else we got here?
Ain't nothing but a gangster party.
All Eyes on Me. So a definite hip hop classic. I think to Brandon's point, I think the Fugees one kind of I was a fan of more, maybe because it was East Coast, and you couldn't go anywhere in 1996 and not hear those Fuji La, Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, No Woman No Cry, the score, very underrated album cut. It was just, I think it was Zealots was fire
poetic.
too. Cowboys, and for them to not bounce back, but to come back stronger from album one, which the song Nappy Heads was the only one I recall from that album, and now they just ballooned into this thing like, oh shit, big time. I think Grammys and every award possible that came out that year, they won, and I think Lauryn Hill was the shining star. They said they knew she was going to be the next one. She comes out in '98 with Miseducation, the only album she came out with. And
it's funny that money changes situation.
So as classic as that was, the Fuji score, I must have heard that CD so many times. Tupac, I love the album. But being an East Coast guy, to see that album turn 30 tomorrow and still be played, it's timeless. I think that's a key word, timeless music, timeless records that you could play 25, 30 years later. And I was like, yo, man, let me find some albums, man. And then boom, it said 30, both of them on the same day. Very rare you have two of those monumental albums like Wu-Tang and Tribe on the same day to be released. And it's like, damn, like we're still running, getting accolades, awards, Grammy nomination, a Grammy, a Hall of Fame for Tupac. So it's a big thing for hip hop. So I just want to mention that before we wrap up.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah,
Legendary.
I think Tupac was more at times both insightful and more angry. I think the Fuji score was more easy listening throughout, and I think just for where we were at our age, that resonated more with us. But as you're older and you learn things, you travel, you get
And plus, it was backpacky. It was like still in that native tongue kind of realm with those groups, and like everything had a message in their rhymes and their story. So, and then the production by Wyclef was cool. I can't speak for him on Cannabis joint, but at least for the score and Fuji's.
Bomb that, Randy. Bomb that. There you go. Hello.
Any last words for Scoop B, for Joe or Denny before you wrap up?
Listen, Scoop, always a pleasure having you, brother. You are one of the best people I know. Your soul has always been pure to me, and I always want to say that I'm always grateful for your time, your expertise in this game. Sometimes gets unrecognized, but we want to make sure that we know that we recognize you. And you wear a lot of different hats, and we just want to say that we can give you your flowers today because we do love you and we appreciate you, man. And you do a lot of hard work, man. You give us an opportunity to do this podcast because we need people like you, and keep it going. That's what we're doing.
I mean, the feeling is mutual. Thank you as always for giving me the opportunity to be myself, and I appreciate people who give me their flowers, and I think I'm more vocal about the fact that I feel that I am supremely underrated in this space.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And yes, you are.
Humble don't pay the bills.
I feel you, brother. But listen, don't detour from this, man, because you're in our book, you're an idol, and we always appreciate you, man. And your coverage is always top elite. And if nobody tells you, we're gonna tell you tonight, man. So it's about you tonight. We love you, man, and everything you do touch gold, and we give you all the best endeavors moving forward, brother.
Thank you.
Denny, you good?
Denny,
man, it's the vibes. It's in the game podcast. Joe Cruz, super producer Randy J. Cruz, Scoop. Listen, Scoop, you keep doing what you need to do. Everyone knows that if you're not paying attention, you need to. Your man, like I said, all social media platforms. He's all over the place. He's very knowledgeable, as you can tell from the information that he shared. So please don't be disrespectful. Go to his page and follow. It's your boys.
Last question, Scoop. I promise you. What are you looking most forward to for the second half of the NBA season?
I want to see Jason Tatum come back, and I want to see the Eastern Conference be really competitive with not just Boston, but the Knicks, the Toronto Raptors, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I also want to see the Orlando Magic and the Milwaukee Bucks step their game up.
Yeah, Orlando's been a little off, man.
I don't like it.
They had injuries with Wagner and Paolo early on, but don't know what's going on over there.
It's Paolo. And we'll talk about that next time. It's Paolo, man.
Paolo?
So there's a lot on his shoulders that he ain't producing, brother. He's not. I watch these games. I'm telling you. It's a lot for him. Does
Giannis remain a buck, Scoop? Does Giannis remain a buck?
Past this season?
Yes.
I could see it. I can tell you that Milwaukee is interested in Ja Morant, and if they somehow find a way to pair Ja and Giannis together, I think Giannis stays.
Correct. I agree.
I think that Giannis knows how to play both sides of the fence, and he uses it to his competitive advantage. Like I told you before, when he set some boundaries and how he wanted Milwaukee to improve, they worship him similarly to how Cleveland worships LeBron, and I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis stays.
For those who are watching on video, I want to know, you have a Boston jersey, Don Bosco and Melo. Are they signed? Is that Kyrie Boston?
Yeah.
Is signed or no?
Yes.
Lucky guy.
Um.
What we got over there?
So.
Okay, a little tour. Yeah, okay.
Look at this, Danny.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Wow.
Right here, can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yes.
They signed that for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you look at this Kyrie Boston. Kyrie signed that for me.
Nice.
My high school, Don Bosco, prep,
Okay.
jersey.
Yes.
And it has my logo on there, and then Melo signed that
Nice.
jersey right there. And then when you look further in my office, you see.
Oh no.
Ooh.
And then Boston Bruins.
Oh.
Is that Jordan 1 signed or just regular?
No, it's just regular Mitchell and Ness game. But I will eventually get it.
Okay.
Nice.
Somebody asked that in the comments.
No, I'm asking you, like, yo, I'm like, I know you ain't got no Jordan 93 All-Star jersey signed up in there.
You know, I've been around Michael, particularly in my childhood, when he was a Bull and when I started my career at 12 with the Nets, and been around him, been around Ron Harper, been around Luke Longley, Dennis Rodman, and
nice,
all those guys. And this is kind of like my second tour, but I'll never forget that, like you said, that 93 All-Star game jersey. I think John Starks had that same one as well. I think two people wore number 3.
94, right?
Well, I think that was Ewing. Ewing wore 3. No, right? Was Ewing wore 3?
Yeah, because it was something like that. It was
something like that, right? School, yeah, number 3. Yeah, it was weird.
It was the same jersey, right?
Yeah, it was. I think Shaq had 33, and I think Ewing kept 3. I think he was doing that. I think it was 3. Yeah.
What for that year?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
93, real quick. Yeah, Ewing. Maybe Ewing wore like 8 or some shit. I'm thinking.
Yeah, that was a weird year.
It was a weird number year for sure.
Because you had like 2 guys that wore 32 and 2 guys I think that might have worn 34. So I think Barkley had a different number too.
Yeah. Ewing wore 33.
Okay.
He wore 33.
Who wore a different number in that game?
Who wore what?
Somebody, because I'm with you. There were a person or 2 who wore a different jersey number in that game. He's not wrong. I just don't remember who it was.
So when you say a different jersey, what do you mean, like the same number, or?
So say yes, like say Barkley. So say like Barkley wore 32 and Carmelo wore 32. One of them chose a different number.
All right, I see Carmelo with 32.
Okay.
So Barkley
or Pippen wore 30 and somebody else wore 33. It was something like that.
Barkley wore 23.
Okay.
Yeah, he wore 23.
So they said that in 96 there was no number 3 assigned in that game. But I do remember a number that was weird. Scoop, I agree with you, brother.
I remember. I think Barkley wore 32 in the All-Star game to celebrate Magic Johnson, who had retired because he was HIV positive. If I'm not mistaken,
that's 92 then.
Okay, I knew it was something like that.
That's 92. I'm looking at 93. All right, big difference.
You're right. I kind of put 92, 93, and 94 together. I started watching the game in 91.
Yeah. Classic uniforms. Love those joints.
Yeah.
That and the 95 and 96. What you get nowadays, for that, just have them wear their own uniforms. Like 01. You know? For myself, Rainy J. Cruz, RENDY, letter JC, RUZ on all social media platforms, as Sir Denny Blanco on all social media platforms. Joe Cruz can be found on Twitter at Hoops in the Sun, also on Instagram at Hoops in the Sun, J. Cruz, CEO, Scoop B, Brandon Scoop B Robinson at Scoop B on X and Twitter, IG, the same thing, right?
Yep, and Scoop B
TV. All right. So it's cool, man. Listen, man, like Joey said, we love you, man. We appreciate you. We're big fans of what you do and how you do it and doing it for so long and through the ups and downs and not getting your shine or not getting the proper respect. You got 3 people here that love you and respect what you do, and there's a lot of haters out there. So if they're hating on you, you must be doing something right. We're correct.
Facts.
FACTS. Facts.
All we're gonna say is keep on doing your thing, man. Listen, whenever you want to come back on, probably for playoffs, we'll definitely make it happen.
I'm around. Holla at me.
I got you.
God
man.
bless you, Scoop. Love you, champ.
Danny Blanco,
Always.
take us out. Take us out.
Man, it's in the game podcast. Tell your mama, tell your friends. You heard?
You heard?
You heard?
We out.